Okay.
Sige, hintayin muna natin si Bruce. Pag yun nagparamdam, alam na natin.
Oh, wala pa. Let's check it out.
Yeah, we're live on Facebook. Wala lang si Bruce. Ayun, yun si
Yeah, there
Bruce.
he is. Good evening, Bruce. Glendale,
Muntik
what up?
na. Muntik na kami di maniwala.
Yeah. Almost didn't believe. Oh, wow. Glendale is in Malaysia. What up? Ano meron sa Malaysia? Ba't nandiyan ka?
Oo nga. Pabili naman ng barrels.
Wow, look at you. Everyone's so quiet. The kids are so quiet.
Oo nga, kung kailan nandito sila pareho,
Oo nga.
tahimik pareho ang puta.
Sorry.
That's not what I meant by talk, but okay, cook.
Saying hi to my Dabber Cards. Yeah, I haven't been around since I believe February. Yeah.
Has it been that long? Yeah.
Wait, no.
February ba?
No. Ano, after WrestleMania pala.
Yeah, the anniversary.
Middle of April pala, sorry.
How do you interview someone without sounding too interrogative? Well, you have a conversation with them, Bruce. You actually
talk to them.
You talk to them, you listen to them, you react to what they're saying. Don't be asan ka ng gabing to.
Or wag yung kunwari may sinabi sila, dumiretso ka na sa next question mo.
Yeah,
React ka naman sa answers nila.
Yeah, it's a conversation, man. It's an interview is really just a conversation.
Yeah.
An interview is like when you're doing the news, when you're reporting the news, diba? Tapos you have to talk to someone on and get the news.
Uy, congrats pala Glendale on presenting a paper in Kota Kinabalu of all places. Go kill it, man.
Congratulations, Julian, for having your research defended. I mean, like passing your defense. Ano ba yan? Thesis ba yan? Or
Sounds
just,
like it. Yeah.
Research lang daw eh.
Oh, Rowan, may tanong si Glendale. What's it like to be hated by JDL?
Oh well. I mean, the feeling's mutual.
Di ko na.
Look at you trying to kayfabe all of us.
I actually told him off for doing that.
Yeah, I know.
Sinong kala mo?
Rowan, feeling mo wrestler ka na rin.
Ayun, yun na nga eh.
Yeah, di naman. Trying to change myself, right? Sorry, I'm still learning. Bring him fried chicken instead of inasal. Down pera eh.
Oo nga, Glendale. Estudyante pa si Rowan. Ano ba? Titipid din ng allowance.
All right.
Almost 10 seconds to go. We're going to shut up now.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
I said give me a hell yeah! Hey, this is Zeta Zay.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
You need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I'm Lewis Howley. I'm Sam Scotia. We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov. This is our the NXT UK champion, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast.
Hey.
Stancy, Ro Moran, Emil ASH, Rowan ASH, all coming to you for our regular Thursday live stream. And we actually have a new OBB. So batiin lang natin si Babyface producer Jasper in the back for putting that together. So you'll get to hear it if you check out the audio-only version tomorrow, or all the other releases we'll be having in the next few weeks. But for those of you joining the live stream, sana by next week, we can fix the countdown and put the new OBB in. I just listened to it earlier. We shared it with our patrons. Really happy with how that sounded. So yeah, like I said, both of our ASHs are here. So let's give them 30 seconds to just drink it in, man.
Man. Why? Why
That's
do
your
we...
cue to actually say something. What the hell, guys?
No, dropping the ball.
You want to say something?
Yeah,
Don't ask him to say something. You say something. This is your time to shine.
Wala na. Now
Dropping
that
the
30
ball.
seconds have elapsed. Wala na.
Hello,
You're like
hello,
Milwaukee
hello,
Bucks.
everyone.
You're like Grayson Allen, not getting the shot off before it expires.
Emil,
Jeez.
it's too late. Never mind.
No, it's too late. Wala.
All right. We have a lot to talk about, as always. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks here on the pod. Next week is a pay-per-view week. Actually, we have 3 huge events all happening back to back to back next week, from Night of Champions to NXT Battleground to Double or Nothing. So next week will be a very predictions-heavy episode. But this week, we have a lot to talk about from the news and stuff going on outside of the ring, and syempre some in-ring stuff as well. But before we get to all of that, we want to let you know that we've got the Night of Champions viewing party that is happening on May 27, around 11:30 p.m. Doors will be opening sa Hobby Stadium. So, Ro, let them know what they can expect if they go to Hobby Stadium on the night of May 27.
All right. So, syempre, all-nighter tayo because it's a Saudi show. Night of Champions is happening, well, technically on the very wee hours of the morning on May 28th. That's Sunday after midnight. But, syempre, we'll be opening the doors to our Night of Champions viewing party, which is being held in conjunction with our friends from Geek Talk PH and syempre Hobby Stadium. Hobby Stadium is in New Manila, Quezon City, the Scout area. I don't know the exact street it's on, but if you were
Doña Hemadi.
Yeah, Doña Hemadi Street for that. Right. If you ever went to the MWF shows in PETA or any other show in PETA Theater, it's really, really close there. There's this building, you go up to the 3rd floor, and Hobby Stadium is right there. It's entrance fee right now is 400 pesos for early birds, but if you want to walk in on the night itself at the door, it's going to be 500 pesos. Please come. It's going to be a slumber party, yo. It's an all-nighter, like your old school days, if for those who aren't in school anymore. We'll be watching live and in person who is going to be the first ever this generation's world heavyweight champion. Is it going to be AJ Styles or Seth Rollins? It's going to be a momentous moment no matter what. And syempre, we now know that the tribal chief and Solo Sikoa will be challenging for the undisputed tag team championships, so that's another thing to watch out for. So tara, it's 400 pesos. You get 1 free drink. It's either juice or beer. Syempre, late na sa gabi. So, beer is a great choice. Unlike in our morning viewing parties where medyo awkward pa to drink beer, diba, sa Skinny Mikes. So, let's come in. Let's have fun. May paraffle din sa Hobby Stadium. The more people we get in that party, the better the raffle prizes will be. All you got to do to buy the ticket is go to snack.ph/geektalkph. snack.ph/geektalkph. If you were at the party last time, same things. It'd be just as easy to get in and buy your tickets. So tara, let's all watch Night of Champions at Hobby Stadium.
All right, thank you for that. Now let's give Emil a chance to redeem himself after his Grayson Allen moment. Go be a Jimmy Butler and let him know what to expect if they become part of our Wrestling Podcast patron community.
All right, so Double or Nothing is next week, and if you want to be a part of our watch party, you could do that by subscribing and being a part of the Wrestling Podcast experience to our Patreon at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast for as low as $5 or in our local currency. It's around 275 pesos. Of course, already said we will have a watch party of AEW Double or Nothing. That's going to be next week, May 29th. That's on a Monday, right? And of course, included as well in the experience of the Wrestling Podcast is a Discord server. You can interact with your fellow podcast. You can talk to us about wrestling. You can talk to us about music, fashion, memes, sports, everything and anything under the sun. And we also have the Pasabays, which the last one just concluded last month, and the next one isn't far off. So if you want to get your authentic wrestling merch, your authentic WWE, AEW, or any other wrestling merch, you can get it through us. You can also get the review content of the weekly wrestling shows like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Dynamite, and some local wrestling events as well, courtesy of my fellow ASH here in Rowan. And by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here on the pod. So please subscribe to our Patreon again at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast for as low as $5.
Yong. Yeah,
All
just
right,
wanted
thank
to
you very much.
sorry, just wanted to say real quick that in the WWE hype for Night of Champions, we almost forgot na we do our AEW pay-per-view viewing parties as well. Syempre, it's been a while since our last one, right? Since nung March pa. So
Yeah.
it's our quarterly tradition, I guess, to spend our Monday mornings going through the 5 hour long pay-per-view cards. So let's have fun on Monday morning. And if you're already a patron, may bagong sign up tayo this week. You get that perk for free. All you gotta do is sit there on your computer screen on Monday morning and tune in.
All right.
So, what do you guys want to talk about?
All right, I just wanted to get that in there. First time to
Yes.
debut that sound bite here on the stream. We've actually been dropping it in the audio only episodes, but we know what we want to talk about first. We're gonna start off with this one because
It is official.
AEW Collision is actually happening. It has been announced at the Warner Brothers Discovery Upfronts. So it's happening third Saturday of June. I believe June 17 yung date. Si TK, he actually announced yung mga air dates and some of the locations. Pero yung location for Collision, hindi pa niya in-announce. But given how CM Punk has kind of been linked to Collision, it's not far-fetched to say it will be in Chicago. And I mentioned CM Punk because there's a lot more details going on behind the scenes that I know, Ro, you want to get into. So let's get through the details muna before we break it down here.
All right. So maraming ganap about Collision. So first of all, it's another 2 hours of AEW programming. So almost the same as WWE. There's 2 hours of NXT, 2 hours of SmackDown, 3 hours of Raw. So they're catching up there. And then, like I said before, they are barraging you with all this content to wear you down. Diba? And you kind of think that, okay, I can't watch all of these hours of wrestling. It's like 16 hours or 15 hours of wrestling a week. So you got to choose, diba? Now your choice, or they want you to choose AEW because they don't want you to spend all that time and tire yourself. So that's the whole thing. I don't Tony Khan did not announce a roster split, but that doesn't seem to be off the table. Nobody has disproved a roster split coming. Maybe they're gonna announce that maybe sooner down the line. We mentioned CM Punk being linked to this, but as you can see from the graphic, he's not actually in the graphic. So there is quite a bit of controversy surrounding that because yun nga, CM Punk was heavily linked with Collision, and the rumors are saying that Punk wanted them to bring back Ace Steel as a producer on Collision. Tapos, syempre kasi partner na yun, di ba? His trainer, his friend, his confidant, his work partner. And for obvious reasons, Tony Khan and the management, and I'm assuming some of the other boys didn't want Ace Steel back anywhere near an AEW backstage area, diba? Or an AEW locker room. So, because of that, parang hindi na naman sila bate. And because Punk is again infamously temperamental, um, he or his return seems to be jeopardized, and that's why they pulled him from the promotional material, because they're not quite sure just yet if they're actually going to be able to have him. And honestly, I don't think they should have him. I don't think they need him still. We're still in the we hate CM Punk phase, or at least I am. So I think you can run an entire show without him. Uh, if the roster split that's rumored is going to be because of him, and you're going to classify or pigeonhole the people who are okay with working with him on Collision, then wag na lang. Or just do a roster split for the sake of having a roster split, because you have an entire loaded locker room. So I think you can market an entire show with CM Punk without CM Punk, rather, even though TBS was the one who wanted CM Punk on the show.
There's always been this branding for AEW na it really targets the hardcore fans. It's why Dynamite is structured the way it is, diba? So, Emil, you seem to be like our type of fan. Like we seem to be the type of people that Tony Khan wants to target shows to. So, for someone like you who's got a full-time job, does another 2 hours of TV excite you? Na parang, yay, more wrestling? Or is it getting to a point na, teka lang, medyo too much na to?
It will depend on how the product would look in the first couple of months of the show. Kasi that would be, like, syempre, pag may bagong show, yes, I would tune it. Just like when Rampage started. Like, for a while, it was a viewing habit for me to see Rampage. But when I saw that it was becoming what it is now, like, I thought that maybe I could not watch Rampage this week. Like, I'll be okay if I didn't see Rampage this week.
Yes.
And that is what I feared Collision might become if they didn't take this seriously, or if this doesn't become as different as Dynamite. That it would, the first few months, like, okay, it's good, and then eventually it will just become another. It will be in. For WCW, it's Thunder. For this one, para magiging Thunder lang siya. So, yun lang yung worst fears ko with this show. That's why it is important for me that there's gonna be a brand split. Like, I don't care now if there's gonna be a brand split just for the sake of Punk. Like, di siya kawalan for me if Punk won't be coming back. But they need a brand split so that there's gonna be a distinction between Dynamite and Collision.
When we first heard about Collision, diba, yung bali-balita nga is that the show would have originally been built around CM Punk, and then now at the announcement dito sa upfronts, Punk's nowhere near the promotional material. So yung sinabi ni Ro, I'm gonna ask you, Rowan, where do you stand on wanting Punk back in AEW?
Honestly, I'm not really convinced na ready na si Punk bumalik in wrestling. I don't want to see him back yet. For me, I think he has to fix his problems first. I know he has a problem. Kasi everywhere he goes, he has the problem, and then it will just lead to magkaka-revolution lagi, like lagi nagkakagulo in every promotion he is in. Like recently in that brawl out that happened back in September. I don't want that thing to happen again. Lalo na gusto niya pa ibalik si Ace Steel, and I don't think kawalan nga si CM Punk. I don't think hindi ako manonood kung hindi siya nandun. I'd still watch it. Although having another hour for hours pala kasi 2 hours to. Having another 2 hours for the programming for the whole week, parang hindi ko rin kakayanin. So as a student, parang hirap din ako manood to catch up with every shows. Kaya I'm not gonna complain na, oh, there's another show. Di ko kayang panoorin to because I can't even watch it.
Plus,
sorry.
I want to add something. Usually, kasi Sundays, I treat it as my break with the wrestling week. Because that's like the only day.
Fair. Yeah.
That's the only day of the week na, except pag may WWE PLEs, which is, that's fine. Like once a month, okay lang yun. Pero Sunday each week, I treat that as a break from all the wrestling that's been happening all week long. So having another day na may wrestling, that's gonna be tough.
Ironically, Sunday is like the only time I can really watch wrestling because of all the other stuff going on the weekday. Um, yeah, as Rowan's to Rowan's point, that's what I was saying. They'll make you pick and choose which hours you want to watch, and then Tony Khan wants you to choose his, especially if you're an AEW fan, and if you like the kind of stuff that AEW is putting out. Aaron has a comment here. He says, "The baka sanayan lang talaga," because 10 years ago or around that time, Raw shifted to 3 hours, and then we all complained, right? But back then there was no competition on TV. Like the other only company you would likely watch was TNA, diba? And TNA was what on either Wednesday or Thursday, whatever. They moved their days so much, but that was what 2 hours only, and then you could skip TNA as well because not much was going on in uh, in that promotion. Even though WWE would get its future stars from there. Syempre, LOL TNA pa rin yung panahon yun. Uh, when Raw became 3 hours, we didn't have NXT, so we only really we did have NXT, but that was
But
just
not
one
in its
hour.
current format.
Yeah, not in its
Yeah.
current format. 10 years ago, yes, it wasn't already in its current format.
Tama.
So that was your diet. About 3 hours of Raw on Monday, and then 1 hour of NXT on Tuesday, and then 2 hours of SmackDown on the weekend. Diba? So that was manageable for us. But now with this number two promotion that has a lot of money in its hands, talagang bloated na yung programming block for the entire week, and it is legit a war of attrition. And I think that even though Tony Khan is making us choose, I don't think this lets him off the hook. He still has to put up really good stuff against the WWE for people to really choose him over the WWE's 8 hours or 7 hours of programming every week.
Yeah, at some point napapatanong ako how much wrestling is too much. Don't get me wrong, I love wrestling, diba? Wrestling has helped pay for like my bills over the last couple of years, but as a fan, as people like us who have to watch these things because we cover it, or for you na sobrang completionist ka, how much wrestling is too much?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. At least, well, we're not at the point yet where both companies are running head to head on the same day. Or, well, may Rampage pala and SmackDown. I mean, on Monday, diba? At least, like, I don't have to tune in. I don't have to switch my channels between Raw and Nitro like they did in the 90s. So maybe that's if I had to review two shows by the same night, or by Tuesday the next day, I would go crazy. So I'm glad na merong pagitan pa rin. There's one show a day at the very least.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other thoughts on Collision, on this plus 2 hours that we'll have to devote to wrestling every week before we get to break?
Aaron has a question here. Does placing Collision on a Saturday help? Is it better? Would it have been better if they went head to head with WWE? Maybe it could have gone head to head with SmackDown. I think that would have been fine.
But that's a Rampage slot.
That's a Rampage slot, yes. Then you would have to get rid of Rampage, diba? Ako, for me, I like it being on a Saturday, which is a Sunday morning for us here in the Philippines. Because at least I would have the rest of the day, ideally. And most days, I don't have anything to do on a Sunday. And then I can have, a bit of time to watch it. It's like, 2 hours because it's 2 hours back to back for AEW, and then 1 hour and 20 something minutes for SmackDown, diba? So okay na yun kesa sa I have to watch two shows after work on a Monday.
Yeah, ako rin. I'm with Ro here. I would rather it be on a Sunday, or even better if like they decide to hold a weekly show on a Sunday, the Monday on Manila time, because that's my lightest day. Monday.
Yeah. Yun pa.
Yeah. So yun yung mga like in a way I kind of appreciate this schedule. But once they start messing with our Tuesday mornings and our Wednesdays, dun na magkakatalo.
I guess I guess this is why we do what we do, so that you don't have you, the listener, rather, don't have to go through all of that content. I mean, you could, but now it's not realistic. Not even for Rowan, who is part of the show, but he's a student and everything. He has legit responsibilities, like we all do. But Rowan more than most, because he's still learning the skills that would get him through life. But we're here to try to make sense of as much of it as possible.
Yeah, we try. We try. All right, we'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk about Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, and we're going to look back on the years since Sasha Banks and Naomi have walked out of WWE. But first, let's hear from our other podcasts right here on Podcast Network Asia. Right, let's talk about Randy Orton here. I think si Cowboy Bob Orton yung na-quote this week because he got interviewed and he said na doctors have advised Randy Orton to step away from the ring for good. And that was probably a result of the back injury that he sustained in mid-2022. It's been about a year since we actually last saw him on WWE television. And we can speculate all night about whether or not his in-ring career is over. Ultimately, si Randy Orton lang talaga yung makakapag-decide niyan, and maybe his medical team or like his family. So I guess I'm going to jump ahead to ask if you think as a fan... Oh, yeah.
Wait, we have to cut to the actual thing that they said. The doctors have told him to stop and to never wrestle again. That's a legit quote from Cowboy Bob. So the reason why we're speculating this whole thing is because he has been advised to call it quits.
Right. So, ayan, so I stand corrected there. Yun nga, if he's been advised to call it quits, I don't know. Maybe there's a part of Randy Orton who believes na if I do the Edge thing and wait X years, I'll be able to have a comeback. But Randy Orton is 42. See, Edge, when he was forced to step away, he was 37. So, magkaiba yun. Plus, Randy Orton has been on the grind for the last 20 years. And 20 years of the WWE schedule at that. Whereas si Edge, his first 8-9 years were on the independents before he made it to WWE. So, hindi parallel yung nangyari kina Edge and Randy Orton. So, now, let me throw it to the ASHs. We'll start with Rowan. Do you think Randy Orton has unfinished business?
My first, well, I would really be sad if he retires. Pero every wrestler is bound to retire naman eh. So, pero does he have unfinished business? Kind of. I wish if he will retire, siguro it would be a career-threatening match or a retirement match. But if you come to think of it, he has done a lot na rin in WWE. So he has nothing else to prove. So even if he retires now, it's okay lang din. Pero it would still make me sad.
Mm-hmm. What's the unfinished business, Rowan? Kasi sabi mo, meron pa eh. So what do you think he has left to do?
Well, I think there is. Well, I think he can still wrestle somehow. Pero I think yun na nga, parang he can compete in a match that could be his final match. Like a proper match that will call it quits na talaga. O kaya try to regain the tag titles along with his tag partner Riddle. Medyo malabo na pero I don't know. I just want him to have a match pa before he retires.
Okay, to clarify, what we mean by unfinished business is like there's something he has to do before you think na kunwari, a Hall of Fame career or he finished his story, right? I mean, Bret Hart never got his retirement match. One errant kick from Bill Goldberg, his full-time in-ring days were basically done. So let me ask you, Emil ASH, do you think there's any unfinished business for Randy Orton?
Maybe going for Ric Flair's record. but that's the only one I can think of. Because this guy started so young. Like he started in the main roster of WWE when he was like 21 or 22. So he's only 42, but it felt like he has been in WWE for the longest of time, and for his career, he has really done everything that is needed, uh, that he has to do in the wrestling business. I mean, he's already won the Royal Rumble, WWE
Grand
championships, yeah, Grand Slam, Money in the Bank. Well, so for me, wala na siyang dapat patunayan eh. And maybe the only thing that I thought that maybe he could still go after is the record. But aside from that, he could retire today, and I can say that he's already one of the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Ro, any unfinished business?
Yeah, I can't believe people are glossing over this, but he still has that heel turn left against his current partner, diba? The partner that he left behind. So it's so weird if he retires without having ever resolved that, because everyone knew it was headed there, diba? Randy Orton, Grumpy Orton, sometimes pissed with Riddle, so you knew there was a built-in rivalry headed there, and if it really was going to be his last year, that could have been like the retirement angle. Like, who better to retire him than um, the guy who won him over and then eventually pissed off. So uh,
I want a happy ending for Randy Orton. Like he went out having a friend.
yeah, but he didn't go out. I mean, like,
Hindi.
but still, everyone was waiting for that, diba? Like, weren't you waiting for the inevitable heel turn against Matt Riddle, diba? So,
I mean,
um,
we were all waiting for Bret Hart to have one last run in WWE. Then he got kicked in the head.
and then he had that match at WrestleMania 26. So there's that. He got to finish the story against Vince. Um, Yeah, yun lang naman gusto ko. It's just sad that you don't get to finish the story on your own terms, which is why Edge decided to come back. As for the physical side of it, I don't know if that means, because of the Edge thing, because of the Page thing, the Soraya thing. Now you get to just rest for a few years and you come back. Uh, it is kind of sad that he's just 42 while some of the other relatively 40s guys who are still on the come up in on the main roster are still getting their prime years, diba? Sayang lang. But the guy has had a 20-year career. He did technically go out on his 20th year, and um, now is a good time for him to retire. I would just stop and start collecting the paychecks, work backstage if you really miss wrestling. But I would like to see him, if he can, if he's allowed to, like, if taking a bump won't kill him, uh, wrap it up, in a nice way. Just one match. You don't even have to do like a bunch of matches leading up to that match. But just turn on Riddle, work it for 4 weeks, and then have him retire. Or just do it at WrestleMania next year. Whatever. Just finish the story, if you will.
Not to laugh at Randy Orton or his fate. No, it's just the whole finishing the story thing always cracks me up. But yeah,
Wala na. Naging meme na siya eh, sa
oo nga
wrestling.
Thanks, Cody. But yeah, no, I really appreciate. I've grown to appreciate Randy Orton. In a way, he's like the San Antonio Spurs. Diba? A lot of people called Randy Orton boring over the years, methodical, slow, however you want to call his style, whatever. I've grown to respect what he brought every year, whether as a face, as a heel. There was a point where I became a believer in the rin of Randy Orton. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, Randy's on TV. So, this last year there has been a gaping hole with his absence, and if this is it for the Viper, for the Apex Predator, then I'd like to think now he did do pretty much 99.9% of everything he could do in this business. So I think that if he had to retire today, it's not a bad way to go out, because it could have been much worse. And all I want for him is to be healthy enough to see to see his kids grow, to spend time with his family, and really enjoy all of the money that he made from wrestling. Diba?
Yeah. Aaron, Triple H almost died, literally. So, of course, he can't finish the story on his own terms. But we don't know about Randy if, if taking another bump will kill him or whatever. Diba? So, unless we find out that information, then I will push for, one last heel turn against Matt Riddle. Because the guy is made to be a heel. He's likable now, but he was always historically been a heel.
That's true. That's true. I'll never forget how my dad once told me when he saw 2009 Orton, na mukha siyang demonyo. With the shaved head and the gaunt cheeks, no facial hair. I'll never forget it. All
I
right,
have a
moving
question.
on. Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry.
What's up? What's up,
I
bro?
have a question. Ayokong tanggalin ng validity yung sinabi ni Cowboy Bob. Pero what if wino-work niya lang tayo?
Why would you work
Why?
why would
I
you
don't
work the industry and the fans by saying that Randy can never wrestle again just for
Yeah,
a
that's
surprise
too
appearance?
much.
Hindi, para halimbawa, pagdating ng Royal Rumble, surprise, I'm back.
Okay.
Like, that's the way
Okay.
I see it. Pero, of course, naniniwala pa rin ako sa fact na maybe it could be his last run. Like,
Yeah, but that would I get
maganda.
what you're trying to say, but that would be a huge dick move because you're
Yeah.
literally making people fear for Randy's life and well-being, and then surprise, it's a work.
Like, kasi it happens so much
Yeah.
when it comes, naalala ko, first comes to mind, Alexa Bliss back in 2018. For some reason, someone made up a rumor na parang since ang dami yung concussion, it might be the end of her career. Tapos turns out she's still competing up to now.
But that's a rando making up a rumor, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
This
Alexa
is like
didn't
his
spread that
father.
herself.
Actually, no. Parang it was like reported in sometime.
okay.
Yeah, but did Alexa say that herself?
Yeah.
Yun yung difference diba? What
Ah,
you're saying
okay. I
is
get
Cowboy
the point.
Bob is saying this to work people as opposed to someone saying something supposedly about Alexa Bliss.
Tsaka why would Cowboy Bob work people on behalf of Randy, diba? So,
Yeah. Like,
anong kinalaman ng tatay niya dun sa ano?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going with some news outside the ring. Babyface producer Jasper, let's show the man of the people, Seth Rollins, on the set of Captain America New World Order. So the visionary has landed himself a spot in the MCU. And whether or not malaki yung papel ng Serpent Squad, I personally am not that familiar with them as characters in the Marvel comic universe. But being in the MCU is a hell of a deal. So this is a huge get for Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, ang daming extracurricular ganap ni Seth recently. So he was involved with the NFL, with the Chicago Bears, his favorite team.
Yep.
His ride or die team, which either delights or disappoints him depending on the week during the NFL season. Now he has this. It's funny because Becky started it with the whole appearance on Young Rock. Tapos now he's doing this movie actor thing. I am all for wrestlers finding an entire revenue source outside of wrestling, especially when it draws on their unique set of skills. About you know how to fight, you know how to play fight, then you know how to act. My only problem is that once again, like with many wrestlers appearing in movies, especially The Rock, this guy looks like Seth Rollins just dropped into the MCU and not Colby Lopez changing his look to be a completely different character. So this villain looks like Seth Rollins from the WWE and not any other actor. That's how Dwayne Johnson has operated his entire movie career. This guy is just The Rock in this movie.
Ano mas gusto mo na parang siyang scroll na may heavy makeup and shit?
Yeah, Batista does it. Batista changed up his entire look to be Drax the Destroyer.
yeah, that's fair.
That's dedication to the craft. I don't want you to be a wrestler, being a wrestler in a movie. Parang,
yeah, we're kind of tired
Cena,
of that.
Cena at least grew his hair. At least he made effort siya to look different from his, how we know him as a wrestler. How he looked as a wrestler, and now he brought that to the wrestling. And even though he's balding, it is at least a different look for him. He looks more like a regular person than John Cena the wrestler. So yun lang naman ang pet peeve ko. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Emil, are you gonna sing in the theater if you see Seth?
No, hindi no. I'm not that good. I'm not that Mark. But yeah, it's good. Anytime a wrestler makes money without taking bumps, I'm always happy for them. And plus, I think this must be a dream come true for Seth, knowing he's a Marvel fan and knowing before he had multiple gears that inspired the Marvel characters. So it must be a thrill for him to finally be involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So maybe I'll look forward to watching this movie because Seth is in it. I am one of those guys. Now, if there's a wrestler, a favorite wrestler of mine is in a movie, I'll make sure to catch it. That's that's how much of a fan I am of Seth Rollins.
No, I feel you. I'm like that as well. Whenever I see a wrestler in a movie, especially a big movie, I go out of my way to see it because like that guy's one of us. Alam mo yun?
Oh.
So he represents our community. So I go out and support them by buying a ticket.
So you
Ikaw,
gotta prove
Rowan.
that he's a draw. Sorry, you gotta prove that he's a draw, diba?
For
You
sure.
are bringing in an entirely different audience, diba? Or hopefully different audience. So prove the may return your investment nila.
Rowan, which wrestler do you want to see in an MCU film next?
Well, I can't really answer that question because I'm not a fan of superhero movies. I don't really watch a lot of movies lately because I'm boring. So I can really answer that question.
Okay.
But I'll give my thoughts with Rollins's new gig.
Yeah, sure.
uh, I'm amused when wrestlers would pop up in like outside of wrestling, like in pop culture, whatever. I'm not against this thing kasi kikita naman siya and I'm happy for him. And I think mas napapadalas na yung ganitong type of thing right now. I think from last year or from the past few decades, parang bihira lang yung wrestlers na nafe-feature sa movies. Pero right now parang mas marami na silang nafe-feature kahit sa series. Um Kaya I think it's because of social media na rin. Yeah.
No, he has a point. Yeah, he does have a point. I was thinking that there were other wrestlers in other movies, like Kevin Nash, Stone
Magic
Cold,
Mike, diba? Yeah.
Great
Stone Cold
Khali.
appeared Stone Cold appeared in that Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the longest,
Longest yard.
But
Yeah.
he's right. Yeah, no, there are more wrestlers than doing extracurricular stuff.
All right.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always good. Always good. All right, let's get to this this bit here about Sasha Banks and Naomi. It's actually been a year since they walked out and relinquished the women's tag team championship. So looking back, Emil, do you think it worked out for the best for all parties involved?
For Sasha and Naomi, definitely kasi they bet on themselves eh. Like no, hindi lahat kaya makapag walk out sa WWE and expect na they'll still be relevant or there'll still be companies na would want them, but both of them they did it. Like now we see Mercedes having banger matches in Japan. Trinity just made her Impact debut, and they're treating her as a big deal. So in a way, nag-pay off yung ginawa nila last year. So kudos to them because not everyone can do it. On the WWE side, maybe hindi pa din nagbabago yung status quo eh. Like they just walked out and seems like things are still the way it is. But with the Triple H taking over, we now see better matches during premium live events. On TV, maybe still may room for improvement pa doon. But the way I see things, nag-improve a bit on the WWE side, and for Sasha and Naomi, they bet on themselves, and I commend them for it.
Mm-hmm. Emil, you alluded to WWE being a machine, but that's why there's a depth chart. Next man or next woman up, as we say in sports. So, Rowan, ikaw, ramdam mo ba na WWE misses Sasha Banks and Naomi or Mercedes and Trinity in 2023, a year after they'd walked out?
Well, it's their loss. Pero I don't think I don't know if they need them right now. If siguro they do miss Sasha and Naomi or Mercedes and Trinity. Pero kasi if they stay longer, I think it will just yung progress nila will be hindered by the limitations of WWE. Even if the scenarios from last year mangyari like Vince scandal or like step and trips like running the company, even if they stayed, I think may limitations pa rin and they don't have this freedom to reach their full potential. Kaya right now I think it's fine na they walked out and moved somewhere else. Looking at Mercedes right now, she has reached her full potential. She won the IWGP Women's Title. And I believe noong 2019 pa lang, I already felt like when she left for a brief period, parang maybe bagay siya mag-all elite, bagay siya mag-AEW, parang hindi na siya bagay sa style ng WWE. She gets like hindered so much. Kaya parang okay lang din if they walk out. And then when it happened, I think they're gonna have a better career now.
Ikaw, Ro, how do you look back on this after a year?
Okay. There are two questions, but you posed two questions to the kids. One is yes, I do think WWE misses the star power of at least Sasha Banks and maybe Naomi. Syempre, these are two established women on their roster. Sasha Banks especially was a Triple H girl. He pretty much developed Sasha from NXT, so I think she would have fared a lot better under Triple H because she would have gotten a lot more chances that I think Vince wouldn't have given her. So there's that. Naomi then is a big name. I think that she would have eventually joined the bloodline and be their female presence. So I think without, something like that, the bloodline also is kind of hamstrung by being an all male group. So, it's not a big miss. It's not a big loss, but it is still a loss. And the more big stars that WWE has or any other company has, the better it is for them. Now, the second question is, are they better off without WWE? Mercedes, yes, for sure, definitely better off. I'm always for someone living out their dreams, no matter what it is. Her dream was always to work in Japan, and she did just that. Trinity, she felt slighted by WWE, by Vince, but I think she could have given it another chance because of Triple H. I'm not entirely sure that being an Impact is like the 100% wave, but she does have the same opportunity to elevate that brand, that show, the same way Sasha did for NJPW and Stardom, diba? So they have their own caches uh, to carry with them, diba, wherever they go. But I think they're way better off, especially if I think the mere fact that you leave a place that doesn't value you, that's already a big win. So good for them. I think good for the fans as well. Not good for the fans who are only pro WWE, I guess, but them's the breaks for you guys.
Yeah.
Not only sorry. Not only that
Go,
they
go.
left, not only that they left because they're value like hindi sila binavalue, but the division itself, the women's division itself, parang hindi binavalue. Yeah, them walking away is already like the yun yung way of pagwewelga nila.
Hey, speaking of places where the women's division isn't valued, let's talk about the Elite. They have reformed as a whole in the main event of Dynamite. Hangman Page joining Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in their fight against the Blackpool Combat Club. And now we've got Anarchy in the arena too. So it seems like ito na yung annual gimmick ng the Elite or ng Blackpool Combat Club, because it's always one of those two teams in the Stadium Stampede / Anarchy in the arena, right? So any feelings upon seeing Hangman Page and seeing the Elite have this moment against the Blackpool Combat Club? Let's start with Emil.
Definitely yes. I was buti lang naabutan ko to earlier while watching Dynamite, and when Hangman went out and then Kenny gave him that broom, I was so happy. I was so hyped. And it's long time coming. I mean, yes, that feud that they had was really good, but I think it's now time that we finally got the Elite back together as a group. So it was a really good moment, and I'm looking forward to the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Ikaw, Rowan, did you get to catch this earlier? And what did you think of how this whole thing was paced?
I actually did catch this up before we go live. I'm really happy kasi it feels like I was watching New Japan again. Because the only reason I would only watch New Japan is because of Bullet Club. Bullet Club na si Kenny pa yung leader. Was he the leader that time? I kind of forgot.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Yes.
I kind of, it reminded me of that New Japan run. Kaya I'm really happy na nag-reunite silang lahat. I thought this Elite versus not Bullet Club, BCC rivalry will culminate in a blood and guts match.
Mhm.
Para I think it would be better kung ganun yung mangyayari.
Baka yun naman
Pero
talaga yung ending. Ano lang to, step 1.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, maybe. Pero I'd still love to see that. Noong una nga when Hangman hasn't showed up, I thought si Takeshita na yung magiging
Yeah.
parang
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
and I would have been fine with that too.
Right. Ro, question for you. Don Callis did his explanation thing post heel turn, right? But until now, hindi pa rin clear if he's actually aligned with BCC because it's entirely possible that he did his thing independent of the BCC.
Yeah, I think he is. I mean, he is independent of the BCC rather. Uh, he, it didn't seem like they were working for him. You know, Mox was talking like they were an independent unit. They were independently angry at the Elite and at Kenny Omega, diba? So I think tawag doon, Don Callis is this weird third party na somehow is not necessarily Switzerland in its neutrality, pero just someone who is also angry. I don't know. It's there's a lot of moving parts here, pero
Hindi na moving
despite
parts, the pace is kind of awkward, if you ask me. Kasi ang daming nangyayari.
yeah,
and then
daming nangyari.
it's like hindi siya nabigyan ng enough time to breathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do agree with Rowan that I thought the ending was blood and guts and not Stadium Stampede because Stadium Stampede is a goofy match. It's not a super serious.
Gulo nung match na yun.
No, yes, it's
That's
not
kind of the point. Kaya nga it's
Yeah.
anarchy.
Yeah, it's anarchy.
No, like I hate like hindi ko alam kung saan ako magfo-focus. Like suddenly
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
brought in
yeah.
part of the
No,
arena
but
and then
no,
another
what-
part. Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that it's not as serious as a blood and guts match. Diba? Anarchy in the Arena, Stadium Stampede. Those are, their ways of having a false count anywhere with a bunch of guys, and then they usually end up doing funny stuff with them. You would know that, past iterations of this were also somehow ha funny. Maybe it would be different because the BCC is involved, but I do think the real end game talaga is blood and guts for this because it's literally blood and guts. The name is right there. The name implies like a finality, a final showdown. Diba? This is just step one. You make my dream come true. It's not there, and there is still a missing element in like where did Takeshita go? He was literally right there last week, and then now he's not here, and Hangman is here. Are you still planning to bring in both Takeshita and Ibushi? Because at this point, if you're gonna do blood and guts, or at least Stadium Stampede, Anarchy in the arena, whatever you call it, at least round it out to 5-on-5, diba? Don Callis brings in Ibushi, which I was predicting last week, and then the Elite have in recruit Takeshita kasi there's a DDT connection naman. I think that's the way to go with all these moving parts because people will notice when you don't use the missing parts, the missing pieces, diba? I agree that this is weird, but somehow they saved the entire thing with the feel-good development of Hangman reuniting with the Elite.
Yeah. Ito, my point si Aaron. Kala ko ba ayaw ni na Mox and Brian yung kung hindi cinematic matches, but the silliness that's associated with the Elite, diba? So, what do you think about that? The BCC being in this spot where, as you mentioned, Anarchy in the Arena is for the haha, for the silliness plus violence.
Maybe they'll change it up.
That the BCC was railing against.
Maybe they'll change it up. Maybe they'll make it serious. Sorry, go ahead, Emil.
I mean, to be fair, if you saw the Anarchy in the Arena match last year, that was really funny. That was super violent. Like Eddie going out with looking like a movie zombie villain. So
tapos may dala siyang yung gas tank.
Yeah, that was really funny. That was I got
that was funny to me.
Yeah, because props are always funny. some props are funny.
Pero medyo nakaka-PTSD yun, coming from where we came from. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about WWE, Roman Reigns, of course, AJ Styles, and maybe we'll have some talk about the women's championships. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. We alluded to this earlier on, but at Night of Champions, we're going to see Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa going against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. So it's a nice wrinkle to this story na parang hindi na, it's not really about Sami and Kevin anymore. It's really more about Roman finding the Usos incompetent. Kaya he's like, if you want something done right, I'm going to do it myself, which is why he and Solo have decided to pursue the tag team championships. So, Rowan, what do you think about this wrinkle?
I would like Roman to win this one just so he can add more belts in his collection. Like,
Roman all
that
belts?
means Roman all belts, tapos mainis yung mga fans. May maririnig na naman tayo, ayoko na manood ng WWE. Oh.
Look at you making fun of the fans. I approve. I approve of this.
Like, I like, which is weird kasi they will say that pero they will still watch it. Pero like, there are some fans naman na hindi ko magets. Like, they're getting tired of the bloodline storyline. Pero it's worth noting, and it's important here in this bloodline storyline na there's a tension within the faction, which is the bloodline. And it's something to look forward to kasi nga, what's about to happen is the Usos are likely to be kicked out of the bloodline. That's the way I see it. And I find it really interesting. Yeah, if nanalo din si Roman and Solo, that would be interesting kasi we might see Roman and Solo versus the Usos. Do you like to see that? Would you like to see that?
Yeah, actually, that's my next question. Actually, but I kind of wanted to save this for the predictions next week, but I realized I'm gonna have a time to predict. So, would you? Obviously, the story is now about Roman and Solo versus the Usos. About it's cousin versus cousin. It's not really. Sammy and Kevin have successfully been relegated to being the side characters here, diba? So, would you like Sammy and Kevin to lose the championships already, and then parang we circle back into the Usos getting their big cathartic moment the same way Sammy and Kevin got their big cathartic moment against them, diba? So, it's funny because it's still revolving around these same six people, pero meron pa rin siyang emotional hook, I think, for all of us, even though there are some fans who are complaining that these six guys have been involved with each other for the past 5 months, about 5 months since January, diba? Since the Royal Rumble and since War Games, even, diba? Even though they have made an attempt to have Sammy and Kevin do something else by doing some stuff with the Judgment Day and Imperium. So I wanted to get your thoughts because I think this is an interesting thing that while risky, I think also is high reward.
I actually don't want KO and Sammy to lose the championships. Like for me, the ultimate reward is to have Jay defeat Roman for the championship. That's the ultimate reward. Kasi kay Jay nagsimula eh. So I think it's only right that Jay literally finishes the story that started with him 3 years ago.
Okay.
Hold on. They don't need the tag team titles to wrap up the bloodline story. They don't need. For me.
Okay.
Pero like in a kayfabe sense din naiisip ko, di ba si Sammy bawal pumunta ng Saudi?
No,
it's allowed now.
Pwede na.
Okay, that's my bad. Right,
Yeah, that is your bad.
But they never explain it then in kayfabe. Like they always just found a way to book these Saudi shows without Sammy getting involved. And now na yung geopolitical tension between the KSA and Syria has been resolved for the time being. It opens the door for Sammy to appear at Night of Champions.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Kasi naisip ko, if he's not allowed to appear, it might be a handicap match. Matatalo sila Kevin and Sammy. So, and then Roman and Solo would win the titles. Pero yeah.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Yep.
That's not happening either because when Sammy doesn't go to Saudi, Kevin does not go to Saudi either.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
So X ka na dun.
Sorry, Rowan. Keep up. All right, moving on. AJ Styles. Yes, Emil.
I just want
Basta ka sa kami mo.
I forgot. I just want to say that segment on SmackDown was really top tier when Roman gaslit the Usos the entire segment, and yung when he dedicated the match to the
Alpha
best
and Sika. Yeah.
the Samoans. That was really good. That was really good. I just want to say it.
Yeah, who's the worst bully? Roman Reigns or the bully in the Glory? Let me know in the comment section. So I'm watching the Glory
Roman
now.
pa rin kasi I mean, like Roman is doing that to his family.
That's
I think it's the worst. Diba?
That's
I think
true. That's true.
Rowan would also know that the bully in the family is the worst.
Yes.
Yes.
That is the worst.
Yes. I don't want to talk about it.
All right, let's move on to AJ Styles coming out of the SmackDown side of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. I think some of you did call this on last week's stream. So it's going to be AJ versus Seth heading into Night of Champions. So my expectations ba kayo for AJ Styles over the next couple of weeks?
Go kids.
You go first, Owen.
I'll start first. I appreciate that we got good matches on the SmackDown side of the tournament, pero this doesn't really need to happen. If AJ does win the title, like, does that mean he's moving to Raw or like with the OC?
Yes.
Or
He's moving to Raw.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe the world title could move to SmackDown and then
Nope.
Okay. But yeah,
You're not gonna displace the bloodline just like that, young buck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
all
I
right.
mean, a lot of people. No, to be fair, a lot of people thought that, but syempre, we have to go back to the words of Triple H when he announced the championship. Diba? The championship is Raw exclusive. It will be wherever Roman isn't going to be, and Roman isn't going to switch because of this. Diba? Yung mananalo mag-adjust.
Pero yeah, ngayon I'm settled that Seth is the champion. I don't care kasi like AJ is from SmackDown kasi like the tournament side for SmackDown doesn't need to happen. The Raw side itself could have been the tournament the tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kung nag-round robin lang sila or like they added 2 more wrestlers to make it like an single elimination. Pero for AJ, I'll be fine if he wins the title. Like magiging ano siya, like would that make him a Grand Slam or Grand Slam na ba siya?
Both guys have already become Grand Slam champions.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
To answer Bruce's question, di namin alam. We are not in the room where it happens.
For me, I'm okay. I'm okay with AJ Styles winning the SmackDown side of the bracket. And even though I think it's anyway, lahat naman are predicting a Seth victory, but at least we're gonna get a hell of a match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, we already seen Seth versus AJ from 2019. It was great. So
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. So it looks like we're gonna get another one. Plus, I'm happy that at least pagbalik ni AJ, he's on the main event. He's on the main event scene. He's competing for a world title. So at least it's better than where he was when he got injured. So I'm glad that he's gonna get this match.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a dead giveaway, but I'm glad that Seth is the guy to be winning this. Deserve naman niya. I think everyone then is at peace finally with Cody not being world champion just yet.
May Brock pa siya.
And may Brock pa siya. Tapos people are, at least for now, placated by the fact that he beat Brock, diba? So wala munang galit-galit dahil di pa siya champion or dahil tinanggal siya sa tournament, diba? So the story was the undisputed, the Uwu Championship. And I do believe that Seth deserves his flowers a lot more than Cody does, and we're pretty much on the cusp of that. Uh, there is no reason to give it to AJ Styles now. I mean, I'm sorry, AJ Styles fans, but Seth is the guy, and he's been the guy for quite a while. I mean, the songs you sing alone prove that, diba? So,
Yeah, the
congrats, Seth.
12-minute singing in that
Yeah.
European arena. Jeez.
I think that was the
enough.
O2. That's the O2, diba?
Hindi, parang German yun eh.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Basta yun, 12 minutes. Jeez, that's how much people love Seth. All right, let's finish it up here by talking about the women's champions in WWE. So you've got Bianca Belair as Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown, and Rhea Ripley as SmackDown Women's Champion on Raw. And I don't know, it's kind of confusing kasi last time this happened, diba, we had that exchange gift segment in the middle of the ring where Becky and Charlotte awkwardly did their thing. Na ang sabi-sabi may legit na beef pa coming right out of it. So with Bianca and Rhea, I have no idea what's going on here. It's very unusual to see na the draft has settled, may fallout na and everything. Everyone's in their respective shows, and yet these championships are still on opposite brands.
May theory ako dito as to why hanggang ngayon wala pa ding title exchange. I think it's because they wanted Bianca to break the record first for the longest reign as women's champion before they could do a title exchange. Kasi nga, we alluded to it weeks ago na if they do the title switch, it's gonna be a brand new reign. So I think
Bianca's reign is already the longest. She already flipped Becky.
Yeah, so now they should be able to do this. And
yun yung
I think it's a matter of time. Yeah, I think it's a matter of time. Talagang pinalagpas muna nila na she breaks the longest title reign.
All right. Good morning nga pala kay Mon. Naabutan tayo before we live stream.
Hey,
what's up, Mon?
How's it
The
going?
man who beat the PBA. Right. Rowan, your thoughts on the title swap not happening yet?
Yeah, it was really weird. I watched SmackDown last Saturday or Sunday pala. Weird doon ako like Bianca is still the Raw Women's Champion and there's no switcheroo with Rhea's SmackDown title. Ako ang naisip ko dyan, Triple H might be coming up with some solution na doesn't have to involve a switcheroo. Pero ako, if I would be asked, ano yung solution for this? It's kind of weird kasi ang naisip ko, rename the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles. Like, kasi back in 2010, this wasn't really a problem if like na draft yung Divas Champion or Women's Champion kasi it doesn't have the brand's names. Kaya, so if they would rename the titles, siguro it would be fine, and they can just switch brands every time.
Okay. Figaro, how do you work around this?
Rowan actually has a good idea to change the name itself, but syempre they're not gonna do that because you have to like identify which show it's on, diba?
And it messes with the lineage.
Yeah, it does. I just switch it. Like at this point, you are the champion on the other brand. You're the champion in the other brand. So I don't understand why they're not doing this. Yung switcheroo na ginawa ni Vince, the handoff back in 2021, I believe. It was dumb, but it got the job done. Diba? It made sense. You're the champion. I got drafted to the other show. Diba? You're both the champions. So just do that. So
and it's not even the first time that happened. It actually happened first with the Street Profits and the New Day.
Oh.
Diba? Nag-swap lang din sila, and that was so friendly. Diba? They were like, oh, sa'yo na to. Oh, amin na to.
Yeah,
and they went their separate ways.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think may nangyari din title switch before the Street Profits and the New Day, but I just can't remember. Parang nangyari din yun in 2019.
Yeah, it's probably happened before. The thing is, even though it looks kind of stupid, alam mo yun, it addresses the issues. Yeah, it addresses the issues rather than Triple H is cooking something, and we'll wait for it. But while we're waiting for it, the SmackDown Women's Champion is on Raw, and the Raw Women's Champion is on SmackDown, and they're defending it on those particular shows, diba? So might as well get it over with than wait for this big thing, big ceremony, whatever that Triple H is planning.
Maybe they'll do it at Night of
Yeah, I
Champions
mean,
where
if there is a
both.
big thing.
Yeah.
Diba?
Sorry?
But may in-announce ba? Wala pa namang in-announce eh, diba?
Wala pa. Wala
That's
pa
it.
in-announce for
Yo.
Night of Champions. But let's say it's
Exactly.
happening at Night of Champions. Sure, let's let it happen there. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it unravels. Kasi I'm with you guys. I have no idea what's going on and why Rhea continues to hold the SmackDown Women's Championship and Bianca continues to hold yung Raw Women's Championship. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens there.
Real quick. It again makes the brands or the networks rather, whoever the kayfabe drafters were, look stupid because you just took the other champions, the other show's champion without really getting anything positive from it. Or maybe SmackDown gets it because it gets the better end of that deal because Bianca is technically the better champion on paper kasi mas matagal siya. But still, it looks stupid. Everyone looks stupid, and nobody deserves to look that stupid.
Yeah, I just remembered. So, di ba sinabi ko solution ko is like to rename the titles. I thought of another way para hindi naman magulo yung lineage. And if they would ever have a match, like si Bianca or Rhea, like their respective matches to defend their titles, if they successfully defended it, or if there's a new champion crowned, there will be a new title introduced. Pero mukhang malabo din mangyari. Pero
Yeah,
that's the way I see it.
Yeah, you
Just
just
so-
introduced a new World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think anyone's going to introduce a new Women's Championship within like a month.
I mean, may
Sorry,
balak nga
Ro.
sila mag-introduce ng tag team championship back in January pa, pero hindi pa nila nire-reveal yung
That's a
bago.
belt, though. They're not introducing
Yeah,
a
it's
new
a-
championship. That's a belt
Yeah.
to represent both,
All right.
which is different.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, now that
Good.
we've settled that, let's begin to wrap up here. Coming up in the audio-only version, which you'll hear on Spotify and your favorite podcatchers by tomorrow, we will talk about JD for JD. If you know, you know. And we'll also talk about Ilya Dragunov reportedly being considered to join Imperium. Some AEW talk as well, why Sammy Guevara is suddenly a babyface, as well as Double or Nothing suddenly having 4 matches getting announced earlier on Dynamite, heading into their equivalent of WrestleMania the next week na ang go-home show. So we'll talk all about that in the audio-only version of the podcast, which again drops tomorrow on Spotify and your favorite podcatcher apps. Anything that you guys want to plug before we get to Raw? ASHS.
Yes. Well, you can subscribe to Patreon, pero freebie na yung mga reviews na ginagawa namin.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So I do SmackDown and sometimes MWF. Raw does the other weekly shows, Raw and other NXT and all.
All right.
Yeah.
Emil,
For-
sino inaaway mo ngayon now that the NBA playoffs are happening?
Wala mo nakita.
Nakuha mo
Ja
na gusto
Morant.
mo eh. Na-fire ni si Coach Bud eh.
Medyo inaaway niya.
Yeah, just follow me on TikTok at @EML_Meister. I just post sometimes sports opinions there, post game opinions as well. So, and also on Twitter at @EML_Meister. So.
All right. Ro?
Nothing to plug yet. Just an announcement for an announcement, which I don't know when I'll do yet. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll announce that announcement.
Yep.
So
All right.
just subscribe to our Patreon. Follow us on TikTok at Wrestling2XPod. And if you like what we do, just support us. $5 lang yan. You only have to do. You don't even have to do it like after 1 month. Just throw us a bone. And please attend the Night of Champions slumber party on May 27. That's at snack.ph/geektalkph.
All right. For me, go check out On Deck with Stan C. I dropped the mailbag episode yesterday. Really love doing those AMA-style episodes of the pod. So please go check that out, On Deck with Stan C on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And go check out MWF. Another new
Yes.
episode of Action Novela dropped yesterday. Malapit na ata yung the segment between me and Main Max and JDL.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's
That's gonna
this week or
be-
next week.
That's probably going to be in a couple of weeks.
Yan. So,
Yeah.
abangan natin yun. ManilaWrestling.com for everything MWF related that you want to go check out. Emil's plugged his TikTok and his Twitter. For Rowan, it is at Monday Night Rowan. For Chino, who's not here, it's at Chino Supersized. It's at Rowas War. For Rowan, for me, it is at _Stan C. Thank you very much to Babyface producer Jasper for being at the controls and for that really, really kick-ass OBB, and to the rest of the PNA producers for all the legwork that they do behind the scenes. Thank you to all our patrons, our subscribers, listeners, and followers for everything that you do for us here on the podcast. And on behalf of Ro Moran, Emil ASH, and Rowan ASH, my name is Stan C, saying stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. We'll catch you next week. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye bye.
Peace.